Good morning. Good. Wow, did you see this? And that's something? Wow. My. That's like way beyond what I could do, which is nothing near even close to it. Oh my goodness, there is so much stuff going on. We have a expo coming up in, 3 weeks? It's hard to believe. So start getting the message out on Twitter and Facebook and start throwing it out there and take flyers and post them and hand out little gizmachis that remind people to come. And it's a gizmachi. Yeah, it's a technical term. So, and the little gizmachis actually will remind you that you can get $1 off if you bring a canned food for the canned food drive. And yes, Lori is supposed to be getting help this year with that. Okay. Cool. The reason I got this is there's oranges in the kitchen, so good stuff. Anybody want this one? Well, she screamed, but she caught it anyway. So, for anybody on YouTube wondering, what was that scream? Trust only movement. Life happens at the level of events, not words. Trust movement. I understand what they're saying. Actually, that's kind of profound. No guest is so welcome in a friend's house that he will not become a nuisance after 3 days. And that was Palladius in 254 BC, so nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. He makes no friend who never made a foe. You know, it's funny because I've gone through this book. This is probably at least the 3rd or the 4th time we've gone through this book. And that's one of those, I always read them. I've got them little marked, the ones that I will actually read. And I always skim all the other ones. And every once in a while I'll pick another one. And that's one of the ones I've never read before. So I just had to be in the right frame of mind, I guess. Today we will promise to take care of in sickness and in health. And the first and perhaps best test of our endurance is in this process is called the honeymoon. Since the 16th century, the honeymoon recalls the first month of marriage, happiest and sweetest during this time. Newlyweds were said to change along with the next moon, roughly a month after the nuptials were over. After the mead and honey wine of the first month, society has collectively agreed the honeymoon is over. And it is a challenge to keep that going. How am I doing?
No comment.
No answer. No answer. Just a blank stare. Okay, I guess that means I have to try harder. The muzzle of a lion is like a fingerprint. No two lions have the same pattern of whiskers. So there. Bet you didn't know. Lori, you've been doing a great job. We've got the flyers here. We've got the ad in the New Spirit Journal. We've got the ads in the Nickel. We've got the ads in the Entertainer. And what else are we doing, Lori? Okay. Cool. But the rest of it depends on you folks and you folks to get the word out. Because we have people from all over the Northwest that come to the expo.
Video for the expo and put it on YouTube?
Maybe. Don't know. Didn't you do one last year?
No, I captured footage from the expo that year. We had for a long time, that was the highest number of watched video we had. Now it's, yeah. It's
wow.
It's solid 54. So.
Okay. We do have a couple patron saints, John Lennon and George Carlin. And George, may the forces of evil become confused on the way to your house. I do too.
Well, I gave him your address.
You gave him my address? Oh, thank you. That's okay. You know, they get near our house and they go, ooh, don't want to go in there. They might like us. Why in the world are we here? Surely not to live in pain and fear. Why on earth are you there? When you're everywhere, Come, get your share. That's John. Another one of those just probably sounds like it should be a song. I don't know. Okay, adult, a person who has stopped growing at both ends and now grows in the middle. Beauty parlor, a place where women curl up and die. I know, you see the smile, though? It's just funny. It's just funny. I see so many things, I just start cracking up and going, oh my God, I can't do that one at church. I just can't do that one at church.
So we gotta read one of those.
So, no. I would definitely get the wrath of that pretty smile in the back. So, cannibal, someone who is fed up with people. All right, I'll do another one just for that. Chickens, the only creatures you eat before they are born and after they are dead. See? Okay. All right. I won't do another one. Okay. A father was at the beach with his children when the 4-year-old ran up to him, grabbed his hand, and led him to the shore where a seagull was laying dead in the sand. "Daddy, what happened to him?" the son asked. "Well, he died and went to heaven," the dad replied. The boy thought a moment and then said, "Did God throw him back then?" That's a good question. That's a good question. Sandra.
Good morning. Y'all look great, I'm telling you. I think the whole view is amazing. Okay, I'm up here to tell you of the Oneness Blessing Giver training that was going to take place. It has been canceled. It will be rescheduled, but there was a conflict. But don't give up. Keep holding your intentions high, okay? On May the 4th, Michael Rice and his wife Jeannie will be here. They were here 3 years ago. They conduct nightly workshops from 7 to 9:30 Monday through Friday here. On Sunday, Michael will do the service, and then in the afternoon at 1:30, they will do the first in their series, which is called, and some of you may be able to relate to this, "Why is this happening to me again?" which is the foundation for his work. The second one is on creating consciously. The third one is healing through relationships. Communication. Did you hear what I think I said? And then on Thursday night is codependence to interdependence. Friday is laws of living. And then on Saturday, there's an all-day workshop called Mind Shifters and Still Point Breathing. It is a connected breathing process to let go of our stuff. It lasts from 8 in the morning until 5 in the afternoon. You have to hold your breath a long time. And you can find out, we'll have more details whenever it gets closer. But he does charge for that, which is $125, and it's well worth it.
So are you saying the other ones there's no charge for?
No charge, free. All week long, it's free. He will have some of his materials here too, if you're interested in that. He and Jeannie travel around the world, giving these workshops and trying to get this information to every mind on the planet. So I encourage you to pick up the flyers that are in the back and set that aside, that time. You will not regret it. If you have any other questions, you can catch me after service, and I'd be glad to talk with you about it. And thank you.
Thank you. You know, Daryl, I can see you with her grandson there, just popping him up and down on your knees and everything. I can just see you the same way with your dad or grandpa. Just kind of. Actually, I could see you doing it again.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Last week.
One day, my housework-challenged husband decided to wash his own sweatshirt. Seconds after he stepped into the laundry room, he shouted to me, "What settings do I use on the washing machine?" "Well, it depends," I replied. "What does it say on the shirt?" He yelled, "Ohio State." There you go. Okay, I wasn't going to do this one today, but I'm going to do it now. So I'll try to rush through this one. This is just one of those ones that go and make you go, okay. The mayonnaise jar and 2 cups of coffee. When things in your life seem almost too much to handle, when 24 hours in a day is not enough, remember the mayonnaise jar and 2 cups of coffee. A professor stood before his philosophy class and had some items in front of him. When the class began, wordlessly, he picked up a very large and empty mayonnaise jar. He proceeded to fill it with golf balls. He then asked the students if the jar was full. They agreed that it was. The professor then picked up a box of pebbles and poured them into the jar. He shook the jar lightly. The pebbles rolled into the open areas between the golf balls. He then asked the students again if the jar was full. They agreed it was. The professor next stepped up to the box of sand and poured it in the jar. Of course, the sand filled up everything else. He asked once more if the jar was full. The students responded with a unanimous yes. The professor then produced 2 cups of coffee from under the table and poured the entire contents into the jar, effectively filling the empty spaces between the sand. The students laughed. Now, said the professor as the laughter subsided, I want you to recognize that this jar represents your life. The golf balls are the important things: God, family, children, health, friends, and favorite passions. Things that if everything else was lost, and only they remained, your life would still be full. The pebbles are the other things that matter, like your job, your house, and your car. The sand is everything else, the small stuff. If you put the sand into the jar first, he continued, there is no more room for the pebbles or the golf balls. The same goes for life. If you spend all your time and energy on the small stuff, you will never have room for the things that are important to you. So, pay attention to the things that are critical to your happiness. Play with your children. Take time to get medical checkups. Take your partner out to dinner. There will always be time to clean the house and fix the disposal. Take care of the golf balls first, the things that really matter. Set your priorities. The rest is just sand. One of the students raised her hand and inquired what the coffee represented. The professor smiled. I'm glad you asked. It just goes to show you that no matter how full your life may seem, there's always room for a couple cups of coffee with a friend. Cool, huh? All right, let's sing a song. And I do not remember, and in fact, oh, okay, okay.
You just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Chris, could you come up for a second? Just to help me hold this. That's all.
Don't mind me.
Good morning, everyone. How are you? Good morning. We have had some really amazing things donated today for the silent auction that I wanted to share with you. Chris is going to help me hold this up. This is... This happens to be a quilt that Chris has made, and this is going to be raffled off. This is going to be the big item we're going to raffle this year. Last year we did a painting that Tracy won. This year it's going to be this quilt, thanks to Chris. She made this. So I just...
oh man, John is making me... This is not part of the program. I didn't mean to put her on the spot. A lot of this fabric is made from scraps from Civil War era. So each one of the fabrics from when I got it represented some part of our Civil War. But this is scraps from 3 other Civil War quilts. So whatever meaning the fabric has, I have no idea. It's just that it was the Civil War era and the voices that the fabric said. And there is some current day fabric in there, like that blue and the Christmas tree. But this is the month blocks of the year, like January, February, March, April, May, June, clear to December. So. All right.
Okay, now I would like to ask the gentleman who donated this to stand up. Oh, he does. Okay. Well, I can't lift it up because it's rather heavy, but this is absolutely gorgeous box. and if you want, I can put it in the back on the counter so people can look at it, but this is going to go into the silent auction as well. And then we have a drum that was donated. That's going to go in the silent auction. Thank you, Chris. We can't figure out how to open it. We tried opening it, but I can't quite figure out how yet. It's like it's really tight. If there's a secret to it. No, we tried that. I don't want to break anything.
I guess you have to buy it.
But isn't it gorgeous in this drum? I mean, these are things that we're getting in. This is the kind of stuff we're getting from you. Beautiful people. Thank you so much. So I just wanted to let you know. And also, volunteers. We've gotten quite a few, and I thank you so much for those who have volunteered so far, but we could always use more. The sign-up sheet is on the back table, so if you're interested and you haven't heard about the volunteers yet, just sign your name up there, and Joe will be giving a call to people again this next week. Thank you.
I can dance to it, but I'm not sure I can sing to it exactly, so.
We'll clear the stage for you.
Forgot one thing. ARE is having Echo Bodine come and do, she's the author of Hands That Heal. She'll be here Saturday, May 17th. So it's an annual ARE thing. So be here or be square.
I think that building's in our library.
Oh, yeah, I think it is. I do. Yeah, I recognize that. Cool. Yeah, so if you want to check out the book or read a few chapters while you're here in our nice comfortable leather chair back there and pet Toby at the same time, that is the requirement if you're in the chair in the back. Because if Toby sees somebody in that chair, that's their lap. That's her lap. So we do have a guest speaker today. And I've said so many things about this gentleman in the past, and I would almost have to say the same thing again, except why don't we just say, hey, he's probably one of the coolest dudes you ever want to meet. Probably the coolest dudes I've met. So, hey, cool dude, you're on.
Cool dude, wow. That was quite the song, Phil, by the way. I almost started dancing. That was really something. Namaste. Good morning, beautiful morning. My gosh. So Dhruv, I kept looking, I don't see a cloud yet. No, I don't see a cloud. Kept looking, never saw a cloud. I said, good. Lots of sun. Was out in the yard yesterday doing yard work and all that wonderful stuff. So what do I want to talk about this morning? Well, I'll tell you. I want to talk about inner peace. So I'm going to take you down a few rabbit trails getting there, all right? So let me start with this. Be careful what you wish for. I'm serious. Be very careful what you wish for. Because you know what? You're going to get it. You're going to get it. Now, as you know, I'm dealing with cancer, and I've been taking this oral chemo, and I wished and wanted to quit taking it. I didn't want to take it anymore. And I went and saw my doc on Tuesday this week, and guess what? I don't have to take it anymore. I got what I wished for. But there is a catch. There is a catch. What's happened is it's kind of doing its little thing again, so he says, okay, stop taking that, we're going to give you something else. So I said to myself, I got exactly what I wished for. So I'm going to have to change how I'm thinking about that. Okay, so that I can really kind of move on through this whole thing. But it's interesting how it's working out. So actually, for about 3 weeks now, be taking anything because I'm going to go down to Eugene, do some training and whatnot, and I don't want to take the new stuff until I'm back at home and see what it's going to do. We'll go from there. So, inner peace. I brought that up because a lot of people ask me, how are you dealing with it? I have real inner peace about it. I've got some real inner peace about it. And there's a couple of things I want to share with you about that really strike home as far as that's concerned. Now, I don't know if you've been following me a little bit on Facebook. I've got a Facebook page for my business, C&T Consulting, and I started blogging, which is a hoot. I really enjoy doing that. So I've been doing a lot more research in that arena, and I came across something that just really struck me. I mean, it struck me to my core. And I want to share that with you this morning. It's a little bit on the long side, but that's okay. You won't mind. And it's a poem. It's called A Cranky Old Man. Has anybody heard this poem before? Very interesting. This was an old gentleman that was in a ward in a nursing home, and he passed away there. And later, as the nurses were gathering his things and getting ready to, do what they do, they came across this piece of paper that he had written. And everybody thought that he had nothing left in the world, had nothing of value, nothing at all, really. And they came across this poem that he had wrote while he was there. And I want to share that with you this morning. It's called The Cranky Old Man. What do you see, nurses? What do you see? What are you thinking when you're looking at me? A cranky old man? That's not very wise. Uncertain of habits, with faraway eyes, who dribbles his food and makes no reply. When you say in a loud voice, I wish you would try. Who seems not to notice the things that you do, and forever is losing a sock or a shoe. Who's resisting, or not, let you do as you will, with bathing and feeding, a long day to fill. Is that what you're thinking? Is that what you see? Then open your eyes, nurse. You're not looking at me. I'll tell you who I am as I sit here so still, as I do at your bidding, as I eat at your will. I am a small child of 10 with a father and a mother, a brother and a sister who loves one another. A young boy at 16 with wings on his feet, dreaming that soon now a lover he'll meet. A groom soon at 20, my heart leaps with joy, remembering the vows that I promised to keep. At 21 now, I have young of my own who need me to guide and secure a happy home. A man of 30, my youth, now grown fast, bound to each other with ties that should last. At 40, my young sons have grown and are gone, but my woman is by my side, besides me, to see I don't mourn. At 50, once more, babies play around my knee. Again, we know children, my loved one and me. Dark days are upon me. My wife is now dead. I look at the future. I shudder with dread. For my young are all rearing, young of their own. And I think of the years and the love that I've known. Now I'm an old man, and nature is cruel It's a jest to make old age look like a fool. My body it crumbles, grace and vigor depart. There is now a stone where there once was a heart. But inside this old carcass, my battered heart swells. I remember the joy, and I remember the pain. And I'm loving and living life over again. I think of the years, all too few, gone too fast, and accept the stark fact that nothing can last. So open your eyes, people, open and see. Not a cranky old man. Look closer. See me. What's interesting about this poem, sometimes it's hard for me to read it and not get teary. What's interesting about this poem, one of the nurses took it to a publisher, and it went viral. It's all over. This was in Australia, by the way. Went all over Australia. They even made a PowerPoint kind of thing, and it just went all over the net. Really amazing. Really amazing. So as we go through our lives, every single day, there's people that are in our lives. How are we seeing them? What do we see when we talk to another person? What's happening within ourselves? I'm telling you all of this because I really want to talk about inner peace. And for myself, even though I'm dealing with cancer, I really have inner peace about it. And I have inner peace because I'm safe. And when I say the word safe, I'm using it as an acronym. Okay? So let's go through it, all right? S, simplicity. I keep things simple. I don't make a real long to-do list. I keep my to-do list pretty short so it's manageable and I can do things and I know I can get to where I want to get to. Yeah, I have a lot of things that I could put on the list, but I really like to keep things simple. So that's the first part of being safe and having inner peace. The A is acceptance of others. I accept everybody for who they are, where they are, and how they are. I know that each one of us has to deal with our own stuff. Each one of us have joys, each one of us have sorrows, each one of us have loves, each one of us have ups and downs. We're all so alike. So alike. And yet sometimes we feel nobody gets us. But accept others. And it makes it really, really easy. So let's see, that was, gotta make sure I get this spelling right. I am dyslexic. Safe. S-A-F. Forgive. Forgive yourself. That's huge. Forgive yourself. You know, if I go back and look at some of the things that I've done over my life, and let me tell you, I have done some stuff. Oh yeah. I can't even say some of them because they're just really... But I have to forgive myself. I've forgiven myself for all of my poo-pas and goof-offs and mistakes and, oh gee, I shouldn't have. I've learned to forgive myself. And there was such freedom in that. There's such freedom in forgiving yourself. Because if you can forgive yourself, you can forgive anybody. But you have to start with you. You've got to start with you. If you don't start with you, you cannot reach out and help anyone else. I always like the visual, if you will, of being in the airplane and the steward is saying, okay, if the mask comes down, put it on your face first because then you can help the little one. If you put it on the little one, you might pass out. There's a lot of truth to that. Help yourself. Forgive yourself. Do that, and you can do it with other people. It makes the acceptance part a lot easier, believe me. Let's see. S-A-F. Is it E? Enjoy. Enjoy your life. Experience it. Enjoy it for what it is. Enjoy who you are. Enjoy everything that you do. Even the things that kind of go bump in the night, they're not going to be there forever. Eckhart Tolle said it nicely, and I know I can't say he's the originator of it, but he likes to say, this too shall pass. And it will. It's not going to last forever. It shall pass. So enjoy. If you use the SAFE acronym, it's easier to develop inner peace. If you are at peace with yourself on the inside, regardless of what's going on out there, because it's a lot of stuff going on out there, granted. But if you can be at peace inside, you can deal with anything that comes into your life, be it joy or sorrow. Anything that comes into it. I can guarantee that. There's one more thing I wanted to read to you that I thought was really, really interesting that I wanted to touch on as far as inner peace is concerned. It's, how do I want to say this? If you pray, or if you meditate, or if you just go for a walk by yourself in the woods, or just down by the river, whatever it is you need to do to get back in touch with who you are, do it. Take the time to do it. It's important. It's important. Even if it's just for 5 minutes. Even if it's having that cup of coffee with a friend that Phil talked about earlier. Oh, by the way, Phil, I've got the jar and all this stuff. I do that in workshops. It's kind of fun. I've never poured the coffee in, but I'm going to add that now. Yeah, you're right on. That's what it's about. Today is an interesting day. My grandson's coming over this afternoon, so we're going to get to babysit him because my daughter and son-in-law are going to a barbecue. They have a friend that's leaving to another job. So they go, my daughter calls me up. She goes, Dad, what are you doing tomorrow afternoon? I go, you need a babysitter? Yeah, are you going to be home? I said, yeah. Little Christopher's 7, he's a hoot. I just really love him to death, so I'm looking forward to that. And last night I went to the CBC Foundation dinner, and they had a band there that was just rocking. It was really good. And so I got up and I did a little bit of dancing. Can't dance as much as I used to, but boy, I do as much as I can, and I enjoyed every single minute of it. It was great. So my point here is, it doesn't matter if it's dancing, if it's being with your grandchildren, being with a lover, being with friends, being with yourself, who should be your best friend, right? Yeah, okay. Whatever that is, do it. Do it. Okay? Take a little time for yourself. Do it. It makes a big difference on how your day goes. It really does. And if you're going through something yucky, it will pass. Won't last. Of course, the flip side of that coin is if you're going through something really fun, it'll pass. Oh, yeah. There's something wrong with that equation, but that's how it works. So every time I go through something that's really, really fun, and I know it's going to pass, I go, well, there's another one just around the corner. I'll get that one. So let me share this with you, and then I'm going to turn it over to the wonderful Janice. This was written by Carol Anthony, and it's out of her book. She wrote a book called The Philosophy of the I Ching. And as most of you know, I have a wide variety of interests, and I like to read a lot of different things. And really my love is Eastern philosophy and the way things are written there. It just sings to my heart. So she had taken the I Ching, which is something I like to do also, and really wrote this wonderful book on it. And I've had this book on my bookshelf for probably 35, 40 years, so I don't even know if it's available anymore. But this is what she said. It's so... The creative experience comes on its own terms. It is a gift from the source of all wisdom. As it is put in grace, which is hexagram 22 in the I Ching, it is a white horse that comes as if on wings. The white horse is a symbol of thoughts that transcend all limits of space and time. We may use the knowledge gained in this way, but not possess or misuse it. If we do misuse it, we find that a penalty is attached. All that is necessary is that we sincerely seek and humbly receive. Through retaining our humility and conscientiousness, that's a big word, we turn these gifts into a way of life that will guide and aid us and all of those around us. Then our joy is great. It is not that the excitement that this experience on first coming into contact with creative, but that of the fulfillment and the completion and the harmony and the oneness of all things. Nothing is so great as the sincerity and the appreciation that one feels in seeing the creative hand in everything. So, on this beautiful, beautiful, cloudless spring day, may you find your inner peace. Namaste.